Hi everybody, it's Diane here with a nice stack of books I cut out of a magazine. And since it's so tall, let's do something in the big altered book, except I don't know what. You're going to have to help me along. I do have some due date cards. I've got used, I've got new. I have a couple scrapbook papers. That looks like an old card catalog drawer. This is a row of books that I don't think really goes with that, but it's there if we need it. I did think of book pages. Of course, I didn't really grab any. I thought about it, but I didn't grab them. Come on, I usually have some over here. All right, well, this is not appropriate, but just we could put book pages. Yeah, that's not too bad. I would probably try to get stuff that has lots of text. Just a minute, hang on. I'm right here. I'm still here. All right, we have an old book here. Okay, these two were Nancy Drew's. I like how they had to scribble off the name. I don't know why. I don't think I ever experienced that. I worked in two different libraries in my life. No, we did not do that. Well, by the time I worked in them, it was computerized anyway. But yes, the first one I worked, or no, it was the second one I worked with. I just learned their little computer system. I've been there a couple weeks, 3 weeks, just kind of getting comfortable with it. Oh, we're introducing a whole new program. You need to go to like a class to learn how to do it and stuff. And it's like, I just learned how to do it. It's okay. Begin again. All right. Um, that's a good start. Or if we want to do something like that and then just write in big letters books or something. Library, read. Think about that. So I'm probably wasting everyone's time, including mine. I thought I'd look through a couple ABs, especially these older ones, often have bookshelves. That's all I could think of. I'm not, this is going in a book, so I'm not adding something thick like a cover or something like that. I could just splash flowers around or something like that. I mean, it doesn't all have to be books. Books abound. Wow. Who knew? I guess it was meant to be. It could be a little bigger. Is this that author, Grafton? Yeah, it is. Sue Grafton. Easy. Well, no wonder books abound. Okay, well, thank you, Sue. Okay. Well, I didn't really see them bounding in these pictures. So, oh, well, there's some missing. Okay. We'll give it to them. Okay. Well, that's definitely something. It's at a weird angle. No thanks. very breezy here today. I had stuff blow. I have windows kind of over there. I had stuff blowing around on the counter before. And I imagine this is probably the last nice day of the year for me. Well, you know what I mean. Where you can go outside without a jacket or something like that is what I meant. They're nice days in the winter, fall, sometimes. Late fall, I mean. Well, there's some. I suppose you could overdo the books too, right? And have kind of a mishmash look. I don't want that. I don't want it the wrong way up either. Oh, that's okay. That's one of those film things. Oh, I have it marked. Good for her. You know any cool lights for the glue book? Not really. All a little bizarre. Well, sorry. No, those are on a strange angle. It's not gonna work for me. Sorry if you can hear that. There's a weird car outside backfiring or doing something cool. Well, okay. There's one more. Let's look quick. Well, there's some books right there. Well, I guess if I can't find anything better. I kind of thought in that book, I think there's some index pages left. If I put it on that, maybe I wouldn't even have to fill in the background. How's that for a thought? A good thought. Yeah, it's a thought. All right, the front is it in this issue for books. I suppose that stands to reason, you know, in an older AD before the advent of the internet and the audiobooks and all that. Makes more sense, right? Or makes sense that there'd be more books in those than new issues. Could you be a little clearer, please? I'm trying. I read a book on clarity. It's not too bad. I think it's crooked, is it? No, just a hair. I don't know if that's worth taking. That's so narrow. All right, let me pause. Here, you know what? Let me not pause. Let's just look quick. As long as we're here, we can look together. Yeah, how about it? This is not a Cleopatra layout. I think all the other ones have been, haven't they, lately? Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, this was the top and bottom of the magazine. I could cut off. Yeah, why don't I do that? You know what I'm saying? Let's just get rid of this top one then. So it's not a straight cut. you guys find sometimes it's hard to know where to cut stuff when it's upside down? I do that on people a lot too. I have to sort of turn around to see where I'm cutting. Once in a blue moon. Alright, I know I shouldn't cut this stuff out. I'll cut that negative space out. Alright, me thinks that it's too busy. What if I knock it down with gesso, but leave it? I think I'll do that. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure what side I'll put it on, but yeah, I'll do that. And actually, I should point out, this is the last one I did. I did a lot of painting here, here. It will buckle your page a little bit, and this isn't too bad, but it is a little bit. That doesn't really bother me. It's kind of artsy, you know, but it will. Okay, I'm gonna knock stuff down with gesso, which means I'm just gonna paint gesso over it. That's it. There's no trick to it. And then I'll glue down what I can. Okay, come back and we'll see what's going on. Okay, gang, I'm back with sun on the counter. I think that's the first time this season. This stuff is glued down. I did take the text down with gesso. I wish I hadn't glued it down because I thought of stuff later. I moved this stack down a little bit. I thought of putting something up there, and I thought of glasses. Well, I printed it a little too big. That's just off the internet. And I cut out the negative space. That's why it's all wonky. But maybe we'll still use it. I could find a second pair, a different pair to put up here, although it's angled. Think about that. And then I thought about this. Anybody know? This is crop, but that's a famous painting called Bookworm or The Bookworm, I forget. From the 1800s, it's German, I think. Anyway, I had a book plate of this years ago, so I thought of it. What if he was standing, and I didn't cut it because I wanted you to see more of the painting itself. It's actually really cool. You can find it online, obviously, that's what I did. Okay, if he was standing and this was, cut completely out. Yeah, I have a feeling these aren't going to make it. What do you think? I don't think they kind of go now. You could do that, or something like that. I don't think they really match anymore. And if this gent is here, you don't want a ton of activity behind his back, or at least I don't. I don't like that. I don't like things going on behind my back. The thing that crossed my mind was a critter of some sort. I did think of a bookworm. I looked that up. They're all real cartoony, hokey looking, what I saw. I don't want that. Oh. There's a caterpillar. Does that count? Oh, it's a hornworm. Okay, it's a worm. I pulled this because I thought, well, maybe a bird could sit up there. I don't know. Is that kind of icky? I guess it's a matter of opinion, right? To another hornworm, could be like very attractive, huh? It's probably cuter than like an actual worm. Well, that's okay, except it's still too negative. Maybe I could carry a little more text behind. Let's look quick. Maybe there's a flower or something I could put. A moth. I don't know. Does that really pertain? You don't want moths in your library, right? But of course you don't want hornworms either. Well, maybe. Definitely not up there. We have too many main things together then. Maybe down there. Maybe. I'll say it once again. Maybe. Look at this one. Isn't it cool? It's called Rosy Maple Moth. This person named it Rainbow Sherbet, though. Cute. Well, did we want that? We want two of them. I've never seen that. Where are they? It's related to the Luna moth. It doesn't say. I haven't seen a Luna moth in decades. I saw, I think, one or two when I was a kid around here. Maybe. We'll stress that word once again. By the way, I added a second paper. That's Through the Looking Glass. You know, Alice in Wonderland. But it's not Alice, it's Through the Looking Glass. Could you be more specific, Diane? Well, it'd be a heck of a lot easier if I didn't have to sort of piece it around. I generally don't do that too often. Wish I had glued stuff down. But in this case, I do. No, this is not going to be right. Yeah, that would help. Not this much. Shorter. Okay. Well, I guess I have to pause again. I don't know about color miscellaneous little doodads. I mean, it's kind of blank, but with all this going on, we'll have to assess once this is all cut out. So come back, hang on again. Okay, you caught me cutting out flowers here. Everything's glued except the moths, because I'm not too sure about them. I did piece in behind the caterpillar, well, the hornworm there, and under the ladder. I thought that kind of needed that. Otherwise, I don't think I did anything differently. Why are you cutting out flowers, Diane? Take a guess. Well, we have a garden of live flowers there, so I thought, would it be kind of cute to have them coming up out of the drawer there? Except I don't want to cover over the title. And do we want any splashed around anywhere else? And if so, would that eliminate the moths? I don't know. So that's where we're at. Yeah, see, I don't want to cover up what it says. Well, is there something that we could just cut shorter? Well, what about this red grouping? And those glasses actually glued down pretty well with all those little, you know, extensions because of the way I cut it. I thought I might have trouble with it, but I didn't. It was fine. Well, um, make it a little shorter. All right. One good thing about flowers is nobody's going to know if you do something like this, as long as you don't film it, right? Okay. It kind of looks like a tissue box, doesn't it? Is that okay? Is that acceptable? I think that helps take away from a tissue box look. Well, this big scribbly stuff in the middle is not real attractive, Diane. But, it's what it was. It's a card. I don't know. We could cover it. Is there an acceptable flower? Or maybe a couple smaller-ish ones. I don't know about a color. What color, if you could have any color in the universe, what would you put there? Greenish, purplish? What about this? Okay, you've seen me fussy cut flowers. Let's just rough cut this. I mean, I think that would be better. Maybe a flower down in this area. The bottom is, this bottom inch and a half or so is kind of plain. Although I don't want to cover too much. Can you see way down there? Yeah. That's maybe something. Doesn't help this. I could run a border around, ink a border. That's not dumb. All right, you go digest this and let me know what you do with your exact same one. I think I will border it in some fashion. Now maybe this should be a tad shorter. Maybe that would take away from the Puffs Boutique box look. Huh? A little bit. Okay, gang, I think the next time you join me, it will be finished. Hang on. Okay, everybody, I'm calling this done. This flower didn't make it. I wasn't realizing in the middle of this it's like a grayish. So when it's on the scribbling, it doesn't show up right. Oh well. So I added a couple others and then these down here. Move this moth here. I think the black border helps. I guess that's it. Oh, I was going to say, it's a little blank there, but to my eye, if you put something there, now it looks more like this and this. Leaving that blank, I think, pulls you over a little more. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day out there.